Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to Terraria 1.4 Journey's End. The final update, I'm not actually sure if I believe them on that, but you know what? When they actually have a release date for Terraria 2, that's when I'll believe it. Anyway, before we get going, you may notice I'm playing with someone newish. This is my little brother. We played Dungeon Defenders and Rogue Legacy together, and we used to play a lot of Terraria back when we were in high school, and so I figured I'd actually, gosh, that was ages ago. Or was it high school? No, it wasn't high school. It was late college. Man, the years blend together. Anyway, I invited him to join me as kind of a fun nostalgia trip, and this is a very good opportunity for us to have some, bro time together, because we don't get that much, because we live on complete opposite sides of the continent, and that's a problem. Anyway, one last thing is we actually have some starter gear to begin with. We streamed a kind of like 1.4 prep thing to get some extra gear, but it's not too much. It's just branded Cthulhu tier equipment. So if we seem a little bit better equipped than normal, that's why. I had put it up on YouTube, but honestly it was a lot of digging and chatting, and that's exactly what this series is going to be. And you'll see us fight all the bosses anyway, so I don't think it matters too much. So I hope you guys enjoy. Okay. World is up, except for, you know what, like a fool, I bet I loaded it up in single player. I did.
I was noticing I could not join the game yet.
Okay, allowed users friends, good. Password is the usual. No, do not join me. Let's see, do you want to know anything about the update? Nah, we'll figure it out. There's a thrill of discovery that gets lost when you start over. Okay, I know there's like a roll, or maybe that's modding. I don't know. Okay, so one thing I'm going to say is, I guess,
rain on your day.
Rain on my parade. Okay, I guess, honestly, I can handle all the intro and whatever stuff with post-commentary as we get started. So let's just get going. I guess I'm gonna run to the right. Looks like they've added some new trees.
Yeah. Do you want me to cover ground to the left, or come your way?
Yeah, might as well. Let's see what we're up against. It looks like we got a desert to the right. They've added a lot more like cool flowers and stuff, which I'm immediately just destroying. Yeah, the palm trees look really nice. I'm kind of impressed. Let's see, is the heart UI new? It is! That looks really nice, actually. Did you notice that?
I did.
So were you expecting, no, you probably were not expecting me to just send you a microphone.
I did not, no. Actually, I got specifically a text from Mom after she called me twice, and then sent me a text that just said, "Call your mother," and like left me a voicemail that said something like largely the same. And it was weird because it was a little bit like not serious, or in like the phrasing of mudda, but like the tone was kind of grave, and I was like, what is going on?
I wanted to make sure you got the microphone before we started today. I ordered it a couple of days ago, and I was like, okay, it'll get here on the 22nd, so just in time for whatever our second session is. Maybe we'll do something midweek. And then it's like, it'll be here on the 18th. Oh, okay, well that's that's a little sooner. That's good. That gives him plenty of time to make sure it's good. And everything works and whatnot. Slightly later.
It was here. Yeah.
Yeah, I woke up this morning. Your package has been delivered. Oh. So it's like, okay, now to make sure he has the microphone before we play today. And I was worried that you had other plans, so I'm like, no, I don't mind delaying so you actually sound good.
I mean, I think that they would have dropped it off here, no problem in the end, if I had been busy.
Yeah.
But my regular Dungeon World got moved to tomorrow.
Okay. What? Okay, I gotta ask this. What is Dungeon World? Like, what's the difference? I know it's made by one of the original creators-ish of D&D. And it was kind of branched off of 2nd edition or something like that.
I mean, I think one of the important differences between Dungeon Worlds and Dungeons and Dragons is I think Dungeons and Dragons really shows its roots in being a tactical combat simulator. Like that's really what Gary Gygax and his
Oh
pals
yeah.
when they like generated it, they like they
Well,
were war gamers and it
yeah. So,
reflects a lot
so
of
you've
that.
read the biography on the guy.
I think there was some stuff talking about it. I don't think I've read the whole. Is there like a book or something?
Yeah, there were after Gary Gygax's death, they actually released a book on that effectively was like a microbiography for Gygax, and it was talking about how he created it, and it did talk kind of honestly about how little Gygax actually did to make the rules himself. Though I wish they'd gotten further into that, more so that he was just a magnetic personality and a good businessman, so he just brought everybody else together. But yeah, when it came to like his adult life, playing it after he'd already sold it off to Wizards, I think he actually sold it off to, well, he like kind of gave it to some other people to manage, which is why TSR was called like They Sue Regularly. Apparently they had a terrible reputation for suing all D&D competitors, which is why when 3rd edition came out, Wizards of the Coast is like, yep, it's open license for like all the basics. Hence why we had all those like weird D&D knockoff games. Or not games, but like rule books. And games, I guess, because that's kind of what Roll20 was. Okay, anyway, Dungeon World.
Yeah, so instead of wanting to be a combat simulator, it really wants to be something that's much closer to like kind of trying to create some sort of like action movie or like story about the characters.
Okay.
So like the things that it'll focus on is instead of having like a lot of tactical combat positioning or other stuff like that, you'll just have like, kind of some fictional like idea of what's sort of happening. And the players have a little bit of kind of like, I guess, input on like how they think something's going to happen, and the GM gets final say still. But, you'd say like, I'm going to try and close into melee range, and the GM would say like, okay, well, they've got like a bow knocked at you, and they're going to fire an arrow. Like, what do you do?
Okay, so that's actually like, kind of close to Disco Elysium then, sort of.
Okay, I've heard a little bit about Disco Elysium.
If you're up for a semi-longish CRPG, it is the best one I've ever played.
Yeah. Actually, when I went to Utah with 2 of my friends, one of them was talking about it rather regularly. He described that his character had quite the high electrochemistry based off some early choices he had made, and he said it was not quite paying the dividends he was hoping for. So
I think
that was amusing.
I made my character like slightly Human Dictionary style, and eventually I talked to like I think it was a computer programmer or something, but he was talking about like some weird high concept stuff, and if you had like chose the right dialogue options, he would give you a perk that you could spec into that made it so every time you thought about anything, you got money. It was amazing.
Well, did it explain why that would be the case?
Nope.
Okay.
That's just how the game works, I guess.
That's just what it does.
I'm simplifying it a little bit, but I went from being this like po man considering living on the streets because that's just what I have available to let's consider buying a giant traffic light because why not? Like you could just buy it. It was like $700 in game, which I'm pretty sure is almost impossible to accrue. But I was considering it for a bit.
Do you know if it was for anything?
No, not that I know of. But then again, like every part of that game was just kind of, it was relevant. You just wouldn't think it. So like it was like a really kind of inane and kind of slow, boring side quest. But if you did it correctly, you realize that like there's a mind control bug on the final island, and it's just kind of there.
Yeah, it's the cryptid, right? The cryptid hunters. I thought So you don't necessarily see that. I read a synopsis at one point. Is that not guaranteed that you find it?
If you don't do the side quest, you don't run into the thing in the slightest. Like, you don't even know what to look for.
It, like, the synopsis kind of described it as though that was just, like, the conclusion of the game, was talking to the cryptid.
It really was. I don't want to talk about it too much because weird spoilers, but it was, like, actually the main antagonist, but also not.
Oh, really?
Kind of?
That didn't come across at all in the in the synopsis. That's, you know, I shouldn't be surprised that that did, like, no justice to it.
I guess maybe antagonist isn't... It was the impetus for the antagonist existing. Beyond some other stuff, but, like, why the plot happened the way it did was just because of this cryptid, and that was real cool.
Yeah. Well, that's neat. Yeah, I mean, it's something I would consider.
I guess the reason why I bring it up is because there's actually only one fight in the game, and it's just a dialogue sequence with some dice rolls.
Yeah. I mean,
that felt good.
Yeah, I think a good example of, like, kind of describing Dungeon World is, number one, I don't think it wants you to get into combat all the time, is kind of one of the first differences. That it gives you a lot of tools that are specifically not combat related. Like, one of them is, actually, like, there's still, like, are spells that go from, like, level 1 to 9. But a lot of the spells that are at the higher levels don't have damage, like, associated with them. Like, Magic Missile,
sense.
you know, first level spell gives you a damage die. And it's 2d4. But you get up to, like, level 9 spells, and they don't explicitly deal damage. And I think part of that is because there's maybe some idea that, like, I guess that maybe it deals your own regular damage die or stuff like that. But, like, I think really part of it might be it just, like, works within the fictional environment instead of necessarily having dice rolls associated with it.
Okay, so I found the corruption to the right.
I found one to the left.
Okay. Yeah, I think large worlds always have two. Okay.
Is it always exactly two? I suppose that might have changed.
Yeah, you know, I have no idea. Alright, I've actually come back to the all worlds just have two. Oh, alright. Well,
okay.
I'm back next to the guide. I'm just gonna start elevatoring.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back that direction too. You know, my computer just got a little bit slow when I got into the corruption, which made me take some damage, so I think I'm gonna go with that right now.
Oh, well, I guess the guide's down here with me. Oh, that's kind of concerning. I'm gonna dump this guy in the lava. Well, I guess wall of flesh early.
Wait, what?
But the guide's in here in the elevator with me.
I see. I was thinking you got him to the lava already, and I was just... I was really surprised how quickly you had dug was all.
Oh, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Guide himself in lava does not summon wall. Only the voodoo doll
that's what I
does.
thought was the other part of it.
Oh. I was kind of hoping you could lure the guy down to his death so you wouldn't have to deal with that rigmarole.
It does just say, like, a human sacrifice is required. It never really says it needs to be the doll. But I guess you can't attribute the lava death to you, right?
Yeah. Well. Got a nice partial elevator. I don't have a way of getting back up. Hopefully we'll collect enough rope.
I have a lot of rope.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, hopefully we'll just get enough rope that we can have a... Uh-oh.
Huh. I think there's just a demonic eye in the background flying around.
Huh. You know, that works. Oh, and the guide drowned.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I had a silly amount of rope, but I don't see it. Oh, I have 22 rope. Or 22 rope. No, that's just 22 rope. But I had so much more than this. Well, alright.
Whoa. I was wondering why these, like... I was, like, treating some of the enemies really casually, and then I was taking a lot of damage. It's, like, it's weird. I don't remember them being so hard. It's like, oh, we're on expert mode.
Yeah, the expert mode bumps it up by a bit. That's part of the reason why we want to get the worm scarf, because I don't think it normalizes the damage all the way to back down, but it normalizes it enough that it's not, like, super punishing anymore.
Does it just provide a lot of defense or something?
It's like a 25% damage reduction, which
Okay.
I think normally armor is like a flat amount. Ow.
Oh. Yeah, I guess we're not quite tough enough to take boulders yet, are we?
Nope, that was 300 damage.
Is there any use for the slime gun? I jumped into, like, a new world just to kind of play around with this and make sure the update was working and everything, and I killed the king slime while I was there, and now I have a slime gun.
You killed the king slime as well. I was actually going to say, after you left yesterday, or last week, the slime rain spawned, and I also killed the king slime.
But do I need a slime gun? Does it do anything?
I don't think so.
Should I keep shackles for anything?
I don't think so. I don't think so, and they're common enough that it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
I think shackles are just kind of a basic way to get defense early on.
I know that they're used in some of the recipes, right?
Oh, gosh. So the problem is, because the last time I played this was heavily modded, I don't have reliable memories.
I believe I saw that at one point, but I don't know if they're, like, that important.
Yeah. Realistically, we should be able to just kind of remake our chest. The other thing is, we could always hop back to our previous world and just get everything that we need anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure specifically what we'd need, but I mean, it certainly makes sense if there's something in particular.
Mainly chests, and I was mostly thinking chests so we could actually store stuff. Well, I gotta say, I'm finding a lot more, like, cave pockets around here. Our last world was devoid.
Oh, you think they've changed the world gen? I wonder if,
They made it more
I wonder
interesting?
if the difference is that we're in a large world, or just the world gen is, like, prioritizes that more now?
Oh, apparently the guide will always tell you what is used for what. I actually didn't know that.
That the guide's useful?
Yeah, I pretty much, well, I usually just kind of ignore his existence. You know, I'll try and make like a cubby hole so he doesn't just get killed.
Oh,
and that's
looks
about
like
it.
an elevator. How deep does it go?
There's water at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
So, shouldn't matter. I keep seeing other cave networks, so I'm kind of going to the sides first. Oh, right, we should probably join the Donner Party.
Oh, yeah. Then I could, like, see where you are instead of wondering.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a nice...
You're not leaving, like, any torches, are you?
I have a mining lamp. Don't you?
Yeah, but don't you leave torches anyways?
Sometimes? I guess... Oh, yeah, I absolutely can in this case. Last time we were playing, I barely had any torches because I wasn't getting a whole lot of gel. Now I got tons, so I really have no excuse. It was either gel or wood. I was down on both, and I was just like, well, eh.
Do we just want a bunch of rope? Is that how we want to get out of here?
Yeah, kinda. Rope is so much easier than platforms. I mean, it's either that or we just go with the magic mirror method, which is to say, we just you don't get back up. Someday I want to play this with a group of people and channel the spirit of James and just like get really particular about mineshaft safety and like fake mad whenever anybody leaves like an unsafe shaft.
And I've still got 2 more copies if you know anyone who wants to join.
I think I bought a 4-pack a while ago. My main thing is just like I'm always kind of particular about who I let join and win and whatnot.
Does Shell not play Terraria?
Nah, she's more of a story person or a puzzle person. I'm slowly trying to bring her around in terms of like, hey, just pure gameplay games are fun, but there are only a couple of those that like I'll really get her on. Otherwise, it's mostly going to be story and puzzle games, but that's okay. There's a decent amount of those that we can play together, and it's a lot more fun from my perspective to do like story stuff with her anyway, because I can focus on the gameplay and she can focus on everything that isn't.
I just watched a shooting star kill a zombie.
I mean, it knows what's up.
I think it's just a one-shot.
I wonder how much damage they're actually designed to do.
I think I saw like a 999 or something like that.
Oh.
It seemed like a lot. A lot more than I do.
I would almost be curious if you could kill a boss with one of those, or well, I guess you wouldn't be able to kill a boss with one of those, but like, what are the odds that it would hit a boss, and how much damage would it do to one of those? This is leaving, as far as leaving torches behind goes. The one unfortunate reality is, I'm spending a lot of my time underwater, which is not helping.
We don't want the house like built in with the elevator, right? I should put it up.
I usually build it slightly off to the side.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I figured that was the desirable thing. I found a precise step stool.
So, according to the wiki, it does upwards of 2,500 damage.
Okay.
A shooting star. That's... You know what? That's fine. I almost kind of wish you could affect the RNG on those things spawning. Oh! Oh, wait, what? Oh, that was weird. Yeah, it looks like you can now just naturally put torches on walls, maybe. Or at least for the region that I'm in. Cave walls, I guess. But I could be very wrong on that one.
We could always put them on cave walls, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe... maybe it was like when you went deeper, you wouldn't be able to put it on the background.
So sometimes the background is there and sometimes it's not.
Yeah, so sometimes I got it. Because I think that was something I really liked about Starbound when Starbound first came out. You could put torches on anything so you could always see, and I was like, yes.
Oh, yeah. If you add in background walls, you can then put a torch on it.
I could see that. Yep.
Okay, good. We have enough to make an anvil.
Yeah, I have a ton of iron.
Oh, that's good. Did you loot the last game at all, or?
No, it's still there though, so we can get back to it whenever we want.
Whenever we want. I was just putting up some basic stuff.
I guess now that you actually have a better microphone, that was one of the other minor things. Is like I didn't want to invite another creator along while you were still using the old snowball. Out of
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
I guess I'm always just afraid that I'm going to like somehow through whatever my request is, like slow something down or reduce the quality of collaboration. But yeah, if you've got a really good microphone, then no biggie. But I might reach out. I've been trying to make more new friends lately, and it's actually been working shockingly well.
Do you, like, find people through Discord or something like
I found one guy, two guys technically, and I knew they knew each other beforehand, and I was like, hey, do you want to do something sometime? And they're like, we made a streamer group, do you want to join? I'm like, oh, sure. So now I've actually started doing, like, wholesale multiplayer things again. Because I haven't been doing that for a while. And so we got to play The Mind. Which, you know what that one is, right?
You said The Mind?
Yeah, it's a card game. Every player has 1 to X number of cards, and the cards are anywhere from 1 to 100. And you have to use, like... You have to describe what value your card has without saying the value. So, say I have a 5 and you have a 7. We have to figure out, on a scale of 1 to 100, where do we stand in such a way that I play the 5 before you play the 7. Because otherwise we...
Yeah, I have played that game. I forgot it. I almost wonder if one of Dad's coworkers didn't, like, do that one Thanksgiving.
Oh, are we talking the one jerk guy, or is this some other new person?
I wouldn't call him a jerk, but I think you are thinking of the same person.
He absolutely was a jerk. You don't exactly take all the research and run without being a jerk. I think you are just desensitized to it now.
Perhaps.
As somebody that works in the field.
This is not out of the question.
I guess in reference to this, that's why I asked you that weird question on whether or not oxygen, specifically air, counts as a chemical. Because it's
That's
like,
right.
Is it a chemical? Because like, the wording makes it sound suddenly dirty or like wrong. It's like, yep, I'm breathing in chemicals right now. It's like, ah.
I mean, it is a funny thing. I wonder if this kind of like sentiment about chemicals or this way of discussing it really entered kind of common phrasing prior to Silent Spring. But the environmental movement, like as a whole, you know, it definitely changed people's mindsets about like how we think about what scientific advances, in particular within chemistry, can affect our health. And I think it's like a totally appropriate thing, but I think there's definitely like a lot of nuance that can be lost when we start talking about like, oh, maybe something is bad, then like a lot of other things that aren't bad get kind of lumped in with it too. But actually, my organic chemistry professor that I had taken in undergrad would often say oxygen is bad for you.
I mean, it's true.
Well, his point is largely that that oxygen is it's very reactive. I mean, that's why we breathe it, is so that it can react with stuff when we can harvest energy from that reaction. But as a result of that reactiveness, like his claim was like part of the reason for our body deteriorating. And I'm not sure if that's like so well known or not, but it's not really like an outlandish statement. Like,
yeah, I've
certainly not the nitrogen gas.
I've certainly heard that one before, so
yeah,
it's
no, I would trust him.
Let's see. But yes, air or oxygen is a chemical. It's just everything is more or less a chemical, kind of, sort of.
Well, and you know, so I I did some more research on like when is something not a chemical, and it seems like what people would call like an element, like in its pure elemental form, we call that a chemical element. And depending on whether or not you take it in a certain way, the definition, would leave space for you to call that also a chemical, but it might not. So in that case, you'd say, okay, maybe elements aren't chemicals. But the other one that came up was actually if you were thinking of things that aren't actually like elements at all. Like if we're talking about subatomic particles, like an electron. I don't think you could call an electron a chemical. I don't think there's any interpretation that allows for that.
I think the easy way that I'm going to stick with is it two different wait, shoot. It's been a while. Molecules. Atoms are different from God. How have I forgotten all of Mr. B's lessons? It's been a while. But as long as there's an electron bond between two molecules, right? Or is it no?
And that one's a little bit sticky though, because I think something I would ask is like, what about that situation where you get two argon atoms that are very weakly bound to each other? So argon is a noble gas, but at very low temperatures, it can form dimers, along with some of the other noble gases. Actually, I think helium is like the only one that doesn't do that, which is why it has these super fluid properties that make it very interesting. But
oh, that's cool.
That would kind of say that at a cold enough temperature, those chemical elements become chemicals too, even though they're not really sharing electrons. It's a very weak bond that's not... I mean, it's an electron, like, caused interaction between them, but I don't know. I think the real issue is that, like, chemical is not that precise of a term. So you start to get to these weird edge cases and you can't really be that careful.
I was going to kind of point that out is that I think part of the reason why chemical is such a dirty term is because it's usually used to describe like cleaning solutions, and you know, household chemicals are things to be wary of, as opposed to like half of the things are chemicals.
Right. Yeah. This is true.
Now,
I mean, that's just because commonplace things, they kind of exist as their own entity within our minds.
Now, here's the real question. Are people chemicals?
I would say people are composed of a variety of chemicals, but to say that they are one individual chemical certainly would not be correct. But yeah, I'd say pretty much all of our building blocks are chemicals. I think that's a fair thing to say.
So Legos are chemicals.
Yeah, I mean, in particular that they're made often of... It's like a polymer blend, or maybe even just a single polymer with some pigments in it. Yeah, I think pretty definitely, by most people's definitions, they would qualify.
You have no idea how tempting it is to just pull like a full J. Jordan Jameson and just start ranting about it. It's like, you heard it here, folks. Boycott Lego. They're chemicals. Don't trust them.
You'd be boycotting a lot of things by the end of the night if we kept that conversation going.
Yeah.
Boycotting oxygen, for starters.
Yep. It's a chemical. Don't breathe it.
Oxygen is bad shit. Actually, did you ever hear the joke about, like, dihydrogen monoxide?
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, that's a perfect example of this whole thing. I mean, because water is, of course, a chemical. Like, this is really just the same thing as oxygen when we have that discussion. I found another cloud in a bottle. You still don't have one, right?
Yeah, I still don't have one.
Well, you'll be glad to know I don't think it lets me equip 2 anymore.
That's probably for the best.
But I wanted to hoard.
I apparently got a lot of gems out of that.
Oh, good. I guess I don't really need any more gem staffs, though.
Yeah. I want to say you can make a better one later. Like, with all of them or something, but I could be wrong.
I have not gotten past the wall of flesh, so... Can't say I know. Hey, did you wind up leveling up your character, doing other stuff since we last played?
Nope. I actually did not have time to play anymore. Because I have been more of a social butterfly than normal. Is this where you got the... There we go.
Yep.
Because I've been more of a social butterfly, I have been waking up like much earlier and not having a whole lot of like free time to do much. So today was like one of the first days that I kind of had free-ish. and I spent the whole day doing art. So,
Okay. Well, sounds fun.
and then I'm going to have to spend all of tomorrow. Oh, right, I'm playing with the vac. I don't know what my plans are. You would think playing video games for a living would be easy.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Some people do. I was showing my schedule the other day, and somebody was like, I thought you just played games.
Well, I mean, I think it is kind of like, it's an interesting distinction of like, would it be easy to do anything? Like, you kind of have to have something that makes you able to do something more than other people in that circumstance. It's kind of like, well, you know, if you're a good enough singer, is it easy to be like a superstar? Like, maybe. Maybe you don't have to try at all. You just can sing songs and don't have to practice or think about music, and someone else writes your song. But like by that point, you've assumed some incredible amount of talent and all these other things. Like, probably it's not really all that easy in a number of ways, no matter kind of which way you go with a lot of things.
I think I'm going to head back to the elevator.
Yeah, I was thinking this cavern seemed kind of be ending here. Well, there is some underwater thing over there, but do I want that?
Right, I've got the cloud in the bottle.
Ah,
I gotta, like, add that to my actual workflow. This always happens when I play certain games. It's like I unlock a new movement tech, and it takes maybe half an hour before I've, like, fully got it integrated. It's really uncomfortable when it's something like a roguelike, where it's like, hey, you got double jump now. Oh, you died. No more double jump. And I'm like,
The thing I'm trying to incorporate into my movement is that I only have a cloud in the bottle and not other things. Like, I used to playing the other games where I had, like, the blizzard thing, too, and... Are you gonna do anything about the fact that this tunnel is underwater?
It'll drain eventually. Like, in past times when I've played this game, I will go out of my way to drain it. And then it always ends up flooding again within, like, half an hour. So I just kind of keep making little side passages to get some air back. And then eventually, we run into a cave system like this, and it's not so bad. Oh, right. You yoinked a minecart.
No.
Oh, you actually made one?
I don't think you need one. Just right-click on it.
What? Because that's weird. Because there is, like, an absolutely equipable minecart.
It might be faster or something.
Yeah, that's the one made with boss parts. And it goes hella fast, but is really useful. By the way, if you see the Goblin Tinker, let me know. I think it's the Goblin Tinker.
Oh, you have to fight the Goblin army first, right?
Okay, maybe it's not the Goblin Tinker. There's, oh, I see, wooden minecart everybody has, but if we got the iron one, it's a lot faster.
Yeah. Ooh, that doesn't look good. I think Terraria just crashed because I was going so fast on the minecart. I don't know what was what. I'm out for the moment. I wonder if I could just use Discord and talk on my Mac while I play on my desktop.
Possibly, probably.
I'll set that up if this continues to be an issue.
Or just no minecart. I think there are more graphic settings, too, if you want to turn them down.
I did. The most important one seemed to be to have it stop doing the... It was like allow frame skips or something like that.
Ah.
Iron minecart. Does it also do more damage then? These are the real questions.
Running things over?
I love running things over.
I'd be willing to believe it probably does.
I mean, it does seem to be correlated with damage on the speed, so that
That's,
seems like
that said, if you just crash the game because you're going too fast,
well,
this might be unwise.
No. It's like that XKCD where the one guy like pushes a button and gets struck by lightning, and it's like, well, I shouldn't do that again. And it's like, scientist. It's like, I wonder if it does that every time.
I did that in Scrap Survival. I had a piston that was cursed. Every time I tried to interact with it, it would crash the game. I think it took me like 7 tries before I eventually just gave up on the thing.
Is there still water at the bottom of this mine shaft?
You know, I don't know. If you start feeling like there might be, or there might not be.
There was. Barely.
Okay. That's good.
We don't have too much of a reason to mine all the things that aren't.
Not really. I'm grabbing a small supply of things, but there, yeah, generally is not much of a need or a benefit. It really improved these minecarts. Like, the
How did they?
terrain generation around them is actually kind of nice. There's, like, separate little rooms.
I thought they had some of it before, but you think, like, it's just gotten more complex than it was previously?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it might have just been accidental previously, whereas maybe they built something to generate around it.
Yeah. Because I keep seeing, like, actual room-ish looking things that look quite nice.
Yeah.
Is that a pinky? That's a pinky. You know what a pinky is, right?
No, what is a pinky?
It's a small pinkish red slime, and if you kill it, it gives you money.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, keep an eye out for them, because that was 4 gold.
Okay, so you said money becomes an important resource later, but, like, for what?
Mega Shark?
Do you mean the mini shark?
Yeah, except for you can upgrade the Mini Shark into the Mega Shark.
Oh, and the mega shark is, like, way more money?
I think so?
Believe
all I
it.
remember is there have been a decent number of points where I'm just, like, kind of poor in this game, and I'm like, man, I wish I had more money, and then I'm like, what the hell?
Did you already explore this mine cart all the way to the left?
Whoops, give me a second. Yeah, I did. No, I think I stopped at the desert. Then I turned around.
Okay.
And then there's more desert.
I just found a room sans chest, and I assume that was your doing.
Yeah, that was my doing.
Okay. That would explain why so much of this is already kind of stripped bare. Well, I'm curious what's over here anyways.
Yeah, I didn't go as far as the desert. I went the other direction, where there is yet more desert.
It turns out, as soon as you hit the desert, it pretty much is over, so...
Yeah, I'm noticing that. Ow! Well, at least I got rid of all of my stuff, so that... Ow.
Was ripped off the bone.
It messed me up.